on now going on CM there. And I think it does shake up a little bit of where the expectations for T1 were going. But John, last bit coming out there, how do you like the T1 Boom matchup draft-wise?
I think Boom come out on top. I mean, the CM pick is great for handling Beastmaster, so you do have the route to instantly melt that board level 1, even level 2 is going to be pretty bad. But I don't know if your CM is going to provide you much. You do have good combinations with, say, Freezing Field and Overgrowth, some big circles to stack on top of each other. I just feel like Boom's going to be able to play around that, so we'll have to see how much T1 can get out. The DP versus Kunkka lane is in play. So again, there are ways for Call to play that, but I think Yopaj should still be able to break through net regen on the DP with the Tidebringer and just handle that lane fine.
I saw your face there, Mike, when he mentioned the circle, but just quickly, a non-circle analysis. How do you like the matchups?
You remember how we talked about never betting against Yopaj Ember? It goes with the Tim's Marana too. You never bet against Tim's Marana. This is going to probably be problematic for T1. I feel very bad for Whitemon this game because he's playing Crystal Maiden, and we saw what happened to Cuckoo last game against Yopaj's Kunkka. What the hell's the CM going to do?
Very true. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to be having my eyes look towards that way as well as we jump into game 2 of the grand final. Please, MLP and John, take it away.
Well, thank you very much. Now, we do get into it. Game number 2 between T1 and Boom Esports set to get underway. John, I don't have much faith in the T1 draft this time around, which probably means they're going to win. Do you have any faith in this draft?
I think it's got some timings to hit. It does feel a little bit faster. I mean, you've got a much better sacrificial support for Whitemon, so he's not going to mind dying too much. It's not like game 1, where there was still a need for Lion to get Blink. You can kind of just leave that all the way to Zephyr.
She's moving too fast. What's this movement speed? Can we get a nerf on Crystal Maiden, please? My goodness.
Oh, stop it, Mike. I actually do miss playing CM. You know, she was one of my favorite supports, and now it's actually game losing when I pick up CM, so love it back. Still, early aggression out. They catch Zephyr here, Mike.
Uh-oh, they have caught Zephyr. Screw the CM for now, because Zephyr's in big trouble. He's going to try and run, but Yopaj, would you believe it, will take first blood on the Kunkka. Keep in mind, John, Yopaj has not died once yet this series, so we're going to keep track of when that first kill is going to come along for this Kunkka. For now, though, he is theoretically 17-0 in terms of this grand final.
Yeah, just a great time with the Kunkka, back-to-back picks. No respect ban coming out from that. And I think again, we're expecting maybe the same things coming out here for Yopaj. In fact, maybe more aggression with Marana. So, keen to see if Boom does kick up gear with the X arrow combinations down the line, bully out Carl's hero, and just keep that DP shut down. Does end up being a stronger rune start as well here for Boom, 3-1. So that gold injection from the first blood into triple bounty runes for Yopaj is going to lead to a very quick bottle. Gonna put Carl on a bit of the back foot here, and I'd say first level for DP isn't amazing. Level 2 is a little bit better. It's by level 3 that you might be able to eke out with your Spirit Siphon, but you're also going to have to deal with level 2 Tidebringer, which Yopaj knows how to work well, and even up against a ranged hero, he can just match up quite nicely.
Absolutely. You see them go at it right now, Yopaj and Carl. Already Yopaj getting very aggressive, but that's what you want to do before those Spirit Siphons get leveled up. After that, Carl, of course, is always going to be able to turn around and just kind of drain the life out of you. So he'll try to get the harassment while he still can. So I suppose we'll have a look at the other lanes as well while we do have a chance, rather. Cuckoo and Zephyr down at bot going to be against Skem and Jackie. So the Troll versus Weaver, or rather Troll and Weaver, excuse me. Pretty kind of dominant lane, right? Like with the swarm, with the troll damage, it can get kind of scary for T1.
Yeah, it is pretty scary. You do have good right clicks coming out from T1, especially with the treant. It's very hard for Zephyr to gap close. Right? He can't go up. He can't use this massive 87 to 95 damage swing to bully out Weaver because he can't get close enough. And Cuckoo does go for the Scream of Pain build. He wants to clear out the creep wave, so he can't really jump forward with Shadow Strike to get the slowest stacking on. And that is leading to a bit of a better start here for Jackboys. Like, he's not contested at all. The wave is shoved out, but you're not necessarily looking to be aggressive here for Boom. You really just want your troll to farm up, hit Falcon Blade, and kind of run from there.
Yeah. Of course, that final lane as well. You've got the top lane, which is Gabby and Whitemon against Tims and FBZ. And right now, Tims was being chased down, but he forced to salve up on that Mirana. The Morphling, I mean, for now, he's going to be just fine, and Gabby's having a great time farming. Whitemon able to be quite lane dominant early on this Crystal Maiden, but to be fair, Tims is going to chase him down now. Is there a stage in this top lane where it becomes more Boom Esports favored, or do you think T1 should have an advantage?
I think it does get favorable once Whitemon runs out of mana, which is what's currently happening. He does have 2 mangoes, getting out the clarity, but the moment you can't frostbite that boar is the moment the lane gets really hard for Gabby. Now, he is level 2, about to hit 3, so attribute shift is going to get up, and it should be a lot safer, but you can't really apply too much aggression here. Like, a CM is just very squishy. You can't trade with a Mirana, as you're seeing Whitemon just not even get any hits back. And now, CM, Mike, you're asking for more nerfs. It already moves at 280. Like, Tims can just run her down with 10 movement speed she has with a better range, and it's tough for Whitemon. At the least, Gabby's not stopping in farm, 16-1. So despite being up against a Beastmaster, he's not being slowed down at all.
I love the fact that he's got the little puppy cosmetic as well, and the puppy's just slowly walking right by Whitemon like he's getting impatient, like he just wants to run. Oh, it's a good laugh. So mid lane, Yopaj in a bit of trouble right now. Carl getting a lot of damage off. So this is that point where the DP starts to get a little bit more lane dominant, but Yopaj already ready with the salve out on the Kunkka. And in terms of CS, the Kunkka's having a really damn good time right now. Carl just trying to catch up, but Yopaj, he's, apart from that harassment, is kind of uncontested at the moment.
Yeah, he's not really getting too much substantial damage out with the Torrents, and Tidebringer, as a DP, is still fairly durable, but there's always that threat of rotation down the line. We are hitting 4-minute mark, next set of water runes coming out, very important for both of these mids to secure it, and no supports coming out, so not going to be seeing that kill potential yet, but you always have to worry about where that Mirana is, because X Hour is a very devastating combo early on.
That it is. Speaking of devastating, Carl and Skem going at it for a little bit. Skem does take the water rune away from Carl, and that's going to be very detrimental for the DP now, as Carl does not have any way to fill up that bottle at the moment. We'll get a salve off Zephyr though, so he's going to be quite healthy going back into that mid lane. And he can't really leave at the moment, as he does need that XP quite desperately and needs to be able to keep up with the Kunkka. So he knows what happens if you don't manage to, as Yopaj will just keep chipping away at the HP pool of Carl. I really like the way he's played this. Like, he doesn't get too close to Carl. He'll wait for the torrent, he'll land that, he'll come in for a Tidebringer swing, and that'll be enough for Yopaj. He'll back right up.
Yeah, you are holding the lane quite nicely though. Like, this is a lot better for Carl. He's not seeing any sort of early movements out. His side lanes are going a lot better for the team. So I think T1's getting a little bit more in this laning phase in comparison to the first game, and that's important because we saw Boom just work their shift out with the tri-lane very well. No such early advantage here, but they are looking to be a bit aggressive on Cuckoo.
Now, Cuckoo doesn't have any levels on Blink Up right now, so they certainly can afford to, though Skem now being chased down by Zephyr, taking so much damage, but he will have Sakuchi in a second, so instead they'll turn back onto the tree, and the end won't be able to reach that deep into the tree line. So Cuckoo and Zephyr both going to be just fine. Mind you, Jackie is still able to farm up very comfortably down at this bot lane. So no real pressure being applied from the side of T1 of the off lane, but I suppose as long as Gabby's keeping up with Jackie, you're kind of happy about it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, your Morphling is still hitting some good farm spikes. It is going to be a Linken's first up against a Beastmaster as expected, but FBZ is not really able to get that slowdown. However, FBZ is also not too far behind in terms of his own farm. Dominator is not too far off. I think that's the timing Boom's going to be looking for. Once you have that Dominator, early push comes out top, and then you start eating into that Morphling's jungle, which can hurt Gabby unless they get that early push going bot. They will still have to work their way through a Treant, but I think with a Beastmaster, it's not going to be enough. Like, you don't even have a level in the living armor up from Zephyr yet, so that potential stall out in the push won't be up when the Dominator is.
Be problematic. Now Tims will rejoin that top lane. So very quiet laning stage thus far from both sides. We've only seen one kill happen this game, and that was before the laning stage even begun. We have seen Boom trying to get aggressive in those side lanes, but it hasn't amounted to too much, whereas T1, they have been much more defensive thus far. I suppose it's fair, because they do need those initial levels up before they can choose to get aggressive. I suppose, again, as long as the Morphling's farming, you'll be happy to just trust that he'll be able to overtake later on in the game. So maybe you could have applied a bit more pressure to the Kunkka mid as your Page is top of the net worth again, but I suppose with the supports you have, you don't really have that rotation potential here from T1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a CM and it's a tree, and you don't really have the best angles to jump a Kunkka, and he's pretty darn tanky at this point. So you don't have that burst as well with this lineup in comparison to game 1 with Alina, with Lion, Nyx. You don't have that instantaneous kill potential. So going on to Yopaj is probably not the best bet. I think this defensive play for T1 is working out quite nicely though. Boom is getting a lot more from the lanes. They do maintain a 2k lead just from laning alone with not many kills on the board. But you're in a position where you're not bleeding out in T1. You're just playing it safe, waiting to hit levels, waiting to hit some items. And you've already got Exorcism ready to go from Carl, so all you really need is the DP to swing by, perhaps bot, look for a bot tier 1 push, and go from there, or a collapse on mid, and force the issue onto that mid tier 1. But again, slower pace, not hurting T1 too bad. You have a Morphling, you don't really mind this.
Kind of curious though, when are they going to make that rotation down bot? In fact, hold that thought, because now FBZ's in trouble at top lane, but they can't really follow up. In the meantime though, Cuckoo has been caught out down bot. Page with the rotation on the Kunkka will set up a kill there for Jackie. They are still trying to chase down FBZ up top, but they cannot catch him by that T1 tower, and now Tim's is rotated. He'll be looking for a nice cheeky arrow. No, he's going to throw it onto the neutral camp instead. Looks like they are just satisfied with the kill onto Cuckoo and the fact that FBZ does survive on the Beastmaster.
It looks like T1's planning a bit of a movement down bot now though. Carl dragged down, and Jackboys is alone. Does not quite have the battle trance up, but has the skill point ready to go. Does read that movement though, and backs off. So they're not going to find that juicy pause. 1 kill. That is the push coming out from T1. Again, they should commit Exo here for that. And Boom aren't in the position to trade yet. But the Dominator is up for FBZ, so if he wants to, he could just focus in on top and try to go for a trade.
Jackie's sticking around here. Exorcism is popped. Do Boom Esports really want to try and defend this? It does feel a little bit scary to try and fight into that Exorcism, and there is 4 heroes around from T1. Jackie will show up again, and here comes your Page. You have Boat up in 8, so maybe they could just scare off the side of T1. Zephyr, getting a nice bit of information here for his team. Your Page still very confident as the Exorcism is starting to wear off, but now they'll move in onto that Kunkka, but there's your bow down, and Cuckoo, he got caught by the Torrent, and with the Tidebringer damage is too much, Cuckoo cannot tank through it, and Jackie will take the kill on the Troll, and that's going to put an end to that T1 bottom tower push. Zephyr now has been scouted out by the Hawk, and Snare on the first hit after the TP, and Zephyr, he's still going to try and run, but there is no running. Jackie with a double kill. And the defense does work out very nicely here for Boom Esports.
Yeah, great movement out. I think the one issue for Boom is that they drag FBZ bot as well. So they're going to be shoving in the bot tier 1, not the biggest tower to take on the Radiant side. You would much rather have the Beastmaster push top, but this is going to force a response from T1. For T1, they are buying space out for Gabby. He gets to sit top, he gets to farm freely, not under contention by anyone. Jackie will head to that lane now, but not much a troll can really do about that. So you are sacrificing some of your supports for the bigger picture here. I think that is still worthwhile for T1, but it's looking a bit dire. 4-0 start is not ideal. We are still at the 10-minute mark. 2k lead still stands for Boom. And we're slowly inching towards those early items that we saw in Game 1, Mike. Yopaj rushing the BKB once more. I think you have to worry about that Kunkka just having the confidence to stand forward with a BKB protection. T1's going to need to somehow match that, but no one's going to be going for early spell immunity, especially not the Quap. Cuckoo's just holding on, has the Urn, no charges up. They need to find a way to connect that Exorcism from a kill into a push. But as we saw down bot, it's just difficult to pull off, even with the forward information a Treant can give you.
Well, at least Gabby is getting close to that Lincoln Sphere, and once he does have that Ethereal Blade up, maybe he can just start joining his team and start to assist in trying to fight back here against Boom Esports, as things have been rather tough for T1s thus far. Moonlight Shadow going to be popped here by Tims. So they are going to head up towards that top tier 1. So they might just want to try and just focus on that, get that going. In the meantime, bot lane, FBZ and Skem are going to go for a bit of a split push here. So they're going to make T1 decide where they want to try and defend. And this puts the Treant Protector in a very hard position. So you don't know what to living armor at the moment. And for T1, you don't know where to go to fight. They're not that mobile. They've got to make a decision. The problem is Boom can take both if they really want to, though Jackie has been left by himself, so maybe you could capitalize off that at the top lane. And they're going to try now. Onto that troll wall if they go. He does have Tims around, but Tims, he'll miss the arrow. With the silence out, they will get the troll. Nice rotation from Carl as now they'll move back in onto Tims. He'll try to leap away, but Whitemon will chase him down, eventually landing the Frostbite. And they're looking for that Roshan deny, but it's not going to work out as Carl gets a double kill on the Death Prophet. And I suppose you still lose that bottom T1 tower, but you get 2 kills for yourself on T1, and that's going to feel good.
And they slow down the troll. That's the big hero you want to actually pin down, and they're punishing Jackie for playing very far forward there. At the same time, they're not able to use that extra system into a push. They chase across the map. I think Tims managed to buy out that space to protect their top tier 1. And now, knowing Exo is down, Boom's just clumping up mid.
They are. Skem with the Sakuchi can get plenty of vision. Of course, the Hawks being sent out as well makes it so hard for T1 to have the advantage in any team fight. We've seen this before from Boom. I mean, FBZ is very good at getting those Hawks in a nice position to just always have the information necessary to take whatever fight you want. And Gabby, he was caught out there for a second, but he will waveform away. Salves up and goes back towards that T1 top tower. T1 just got to bide their time as Boom Esports, they will hold that 3k net worth advantage. And that BKB you talked about, John, it is now up on the Kunkka.
So Yopaj is ready to just take point once more. This is the moment when Boom really starts to play aggressive with that Kunkka. I don't think the burst potential is quite there. I think you are a little bit tanky here on T1's heroes. Maybe not so much in Quap, but definitely for Carl. He's not under direct threat. They are still clumping around Jackboys here down bot. He does have this defusal, but nothing defensive here.
Can you silence him up though? He's got the battle trance and it'll go right onto Whitemon. Still Whitemon will just Giga Chat it up and just man fight through it. He does get taken out, however, but Jackie is going to drop, so Gabby will be very happy with that kind of trade. Yopaj now going to try and catch somebody out. Skem will get all the information necessary as they are going to spot out Gabby, but he does have another waveform ready whenever, but he's into the arrow now. Stunned up, but he got the strength morph in time. He'll be just fine. They get Jackie once again on the troll. Mind you, Jackie got the defusal blade before he dropped, but it's still a massive kill here for T1.
That's a great movement out from T1. Issue is, when it comes to objectives, Boom are still getting more. They cleared out top with FBZ split pushing with his Dominator. Because the fight was being forced bot, no response up there. I think overall, you're still happy here on Boom. You're losing your pause 1, but you're forcing T1 to group up very tight. And you're giving space out to at least one core to work that map while everyone else is distracted.
Whitemon, scouted, Skem, he'll keep moving, but Cuckoo is there to try and help out. Problem is with the time lapse, it's going to be rather hard to try and blow him up as Skem will just run his way out of there. Cuckoo will keep trying to chase him. Well, silence was a little bit late to the party. That does mean Skem should eventually be able to Sakuchi his way back out of the situation. It's wasted plenty of time here from T1 as they just run around in circles. Which is something I'm sure you're very happy about, John.
Love me my circles. Mike, and circles being drawn in the map as well. What's not circular is the farm coming out from Jackie and Boom in general. They play top jungle because of that push. They go into Roche. And T1 do not have vision around this area. You've got the vision advantage with the Hawks keeping track of that top jungle. This is a pretty quick Roche as well, with the damage output of Jackie already and the aura coming through here from FBZ. And T1 have no room to respond. Even if they did, they'd have to kind of play with walking up on a tree and getting overgrowth, and it's just a bit too slow in the smoke. So big advantage for Boom. 6k lead, 16 minutes in, Mike. 6-3, slower game. But Boom has been very efficient in getting their farm up and forcing very intelligent fights to distract T1 away from other cores to build up.
Yeah. I like the Diffusal Blade build up as well on Jackie, right? Like that, it's going to be very annoying for Gabby to have to deal with on that Morphling. And even though we haven't seen much from Jackie yet and he has been caught out a couple times, he is going to become a real problem throughout this mid-game. As it looks like he's ready to just join his team and fight whenever. I mean, meanwhile, Gabby's still trying to farm that Ethereal Blade, so he's going to be quite a while away from wanting to join his own team. And even in the team fights we have seen Gabby participate in, he hasn't really been able to do much. He just hasn't got the utility yet.
No, and I think we've seen this a couple of times when SMG picked up that Morphling. You know, you're kind of forced to drag the Morphling in for some damage, at the same time, it doesn't do enough without itemization. I think that's the big issue for T1. Like, their big damage is basically coming out from
lane.
Cuckoo. We haven't seen the Sonic Wave as well.
Arrow. Oh,
Ooh,
Arrow's gonna
what?
land, and the Agimorph was there. Oh, tips.
Oh.
Give the tips out to Tims. I did not think that arrow was gonna land, but it was right on the backside of Gabby, and oh, he was Agimorphing John. He was not expecting that. Meanwhile, across the map, they try to go onto Skem, but they just can't hold him down as now the Roar is out onto Whitemon. That'll be a nice, easy pickup for FBZ as T1 once again have found themselves trying to rotate across the map to deal with Boom Esports.
Yeah, they just aren't getting anything out. And I think for T1, you've got to secure safe farming spots here for Gabby. Like, he does have that Lincoln's. It's not enough with an arrow and Cuckoo.
Oh, Tims. There's a reason they call him the Filipino sniper, John. On this Marana, he does not miss. Another great kill set up by Tims. And off we go, up towards that top tier 2 tower once again. What's there to stop Boom now with the Quap down?
Nothing. He's the big damage. He's the one that needs to get that Sonic Wave off. Look at Skem. He's running up to Whitemon.
He can just time-lapse away as the arrow does land once again from Tims. They even leave Whitemon. They'll let Jackie take the kill as they look for Zephyr now on the Tree and Protector. The X is going to be there from Yopaj, and that'll be another kill for Boom Esports. That tier 2 is just not safe, and Jackie, he's brought out the laughter again, John. He's very happy right now.
Oh yeah, he's getting everything he wants here. Number 2 in that for it. Yopaj is number 1, but he's been so active on the map. He's been snowballing off those kills. And with a protection here of the Aegis, why not go high ground? Your Treant's dead. It's still a level 2 living armor, even if he's alive. There is a Blink Overgrowth. We haven't seen that connect. Like, we need to see the Overgrowth Sonic Wave come in and a sustained fight with the DPXO on top, but Boom aren't giving them that opportunity at all.
Whitemon again X'd up, just a bit too far forward, and the Tidebringer hit almost taking him down. So it looks like Yopaj has gone for the Orchid build-up this time around, rather than the Silver Edge Rush. Still, they won't bother sticking around for that tier 3 tower. We'll leave it be for now and maybe try to hunt for another fight mid lane where Cuckoo is going to avoid the arrow this time. And the smoke is there from T1. They've got to force the fight. Boom Esports, though, kind of prepared for this and just waiting for them to make their way in. The creeps from FBZ almost baiting them in. They have seen Gabby. Torrent is going to land Gabby. Lincoln's arm broken, and now with the silence out, he can't strength morph. They get the overgrowth in time, but Gabby's gone. Sonic Wave is there, but what good is it when you've already lost the Morphling? Now Carl is going to try to run, but they X him right back into the loving arms of Jackie. And Cuckoo, well, he's out of mana. He can't blink away, and that's going to be 4 to go down for T1 as Boom Esports are just rolling all over them.
And that looked like the best angle for T1 that we've seen so far.
Whoopsie.
They managed to get a good overgrowth. It just does pop. Jackie probably doesn't care too much as the high ground still opened up here. No overgrowth, no Sonic Wave, no Exorcist. T1 can't really do much on the high ground right now for a defense. They've got Freezing Field, but it's Whitemon can do about it.
Oh, they're not missing these arrows, John. Whitemon just going to be sniped from a mile away as Skem gives the tips out. I mean, what do you do? We talked about it, John. He's playing Crystal Maiden against the draft of Boom Esports. You know he was going to be in trouble.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get why it's there. You know, just eat the boar, shut down FBZ,
nice
getting
arrow.
that didn't do much.
They might not even die. Yeah, GG.
GG?
Another
Again.
very anticlimactic GG to come out from T1. This time 20 minutes in. 10 minutes before the last one. What do you do, John? Boom